Sunshine, lollipops, and rainbows. Everything that's wonderful is what I feel when.
Hi, I'm Fliss and I'm Managing Director at Zen Communications. I'm a psycholinguist and a behavioural psychologist, so I teach my clients to communicate in the most compelling way possible for them to persuade and influence ethically but powerfully. And in this short video today, as part of the Train of Positivity celebration, I want to share one insight and one of the most powerful filters that you can use to flex your communication and make it most appropriate. So the first filter that I want to share with you, I'm going to put my very attractive Elton John-esque sunglasses on. Your truth is not the truth. Each of us go through life wearing our own fabulous pair of stained glass window sunglasses, and each pane and facet of the window that we see the world through is made up of something that is perfectly unique to us. It could be primary or secondary socialization. It could be linked to our education. It could be linked to cultural factors. It could be linked to the affection we were shown or otherwise in our early years. It could even be related to our nutrition and whether we had a good breakfast that morning or not. How you see the world is absolutely unassailably your truth. But as soon as you're able to recognize the fact that it may not be the truth of the person that you're communicating with, that's when you can start to enter into a genuine communication rather than just talking to someone or at someone. What happens, you see, the brain is an incredibly complex supercomputer, but in order to operate, it has to run on certain programs. And we use a part of the neocortex, a part of our new brain called RAS, R-A-S, so the reticular activation system. And that is the part that tells our brain what is important to us. So we are subject to several 100,000 stimuli every second. And our brain can't process that. It can process anywhere between sort of 5 and 9. So what happens to everything else? We generalize, we delete, or we distort it to best suit. And we do that running through the programs. The brain will check through what's important. And the RAS system, the reticular activation system, will tell us what matters. So I don't know about you, but recently a friend told me that she was expecting. Brilliant news. They've been trying for ages. It's hugely exciting. And now all I can see are buggies and prams and baby things and people with bumps everywhere. Now, they were always there, but suddenly it's become important to me because it's front of mind and my brain is filtering and allowing those bits of information to come through. When I changed my car, I was trying to work out what colour to go for, and I decided on white. I was almost determined to go for a white car. And when I pulled up at every roundabout for the next week, next to me was a white car, in front of me was a white car, another white car drove past. The cars were always there. They were just never important to me before. So look for that. Look for what you're telling your brain is important to you and how that is showing up, and recognize that they were always there, but now they're in your realm of awareness, of conscious awareness. Your truth is your truth, but it's not the truth. There is so much more. I like to think of it almost as a diamond, a beautiful diamond in the center, and we're looking at a single face of that diamond. We're only seeing that part. We're not seeing the whole. Someone else could be looking at the same diamond and seeing an entirely different face altogether, depending on where they're coming from. One of the ways in which our preferences will show up is in the level of information that we want to be shared with us. So this is really useful if you're briefing a team member, if you're having a conversation with a friend or a partner, and particularly so if you are delivering training, for example, to a whole room full of people. And this is what I term information density preference. And I'd love to provide just a little bit of an insight into that now so that you can take this away and apply it at will in your everyday life and just see how much more compelling your briefs are. So in order to share this, I'm just going to share a little bit of a story. We have why people, we have what people, we have how people, and we have what if people. And that goes down the information density preference. So if you were a Y person, and I completely am a Y person, if I wanted you to organise dinner, I might say to you, let's all get together. We haven't all been together for just the longest time. Can you organise something food-wise? Just a big bowl of something that can sit in the centre of the table. You're not going to be stuck in the kitchen for ages cooking it. We can dive in, we can just sit, we can catch up. It will be delicious. If you were a Y person, I would have just given you everything you needed to feel empowered to go away and make that meal happen. If you're not a Y person, you're thinking, that's not a brief. What on earth? What am I meant to be doing with that? So we move back down to the next layer. Perhaps you're a what person, and a what person thinks that's great. They understand the container through which we are having this meal. They understand the purpose, but they want to have a little bit more information. So your what person would want to know how many people are coming for dinner, what time are we serving dinner, and they might want to know something like, are we having pasta or are we having steak? They would just want a little bit more detail. They don't need a recipe. They don't need acres and acres of detail. They just want a little bit more. And that would be enough for them to feel really content and happy and to go away and make it happen. And then you have your how people, and your how people think all of that is great, but they want to know, what are you serving for starter and what are you serving for dessert? Does anyone have any dietary requirements, preferences, allergies? What wine are you serving? They just want a little, well, it's not even a little bit more. They want all of the detail. They want all of the detail so they have a very firm structure through which they can make this meal happen. And then you have your what if people who want all of that level of information, but they also want to know what happens if someone turns up with a +1 unexpected. What happens if they don't turn up at all? What happens if the bowl isn't big enough to serve stuff in the middle, or you don't have enough knives and forks? What happens if the oven breaks? What is your contingency if it rains? And what if it happens on a Tuesday? So bear in mind those 4 preferences, and we all have a degree of flexibility, of the chameleon-like qualities. We can all deal with all of those density preferences, but we will have a home turf, a natural point that's our safe space. I know that I'm a Y person because the more detail someone gives me, the more I have to actively throw myself into listening and concentrating so they don't lose me. I know where my comfort zone is. Think about how you can use some of these in your everyday. It could be that you're doing some copywriting for one of your web pages. Think about serving people with all 4 of those preferences. Put a particularly compelling headline. Do a chunky paragraph that really sums up the top line information. Add 4 or 5 bullet points, and then provide the ability to download something. And you will have covered off your why, your what, your how, and your what if people. Gifting someone the ability to be heard, really heard and understood, is one of the best gifts that you can provide. It's a really delicious experience to feel that you are genuinely being listened to. And equally, when someone presents something in a way that you don't have to work hard to understand it, it's laid in front of you in a truly compelling, authentic way, and you can pick it up and run with it, is one of the most empowering things that can happen in a personal or a work situation. And you have the ability to flex your requests and flex your ask to absolutely suit that person. So my invitation to you is to remember 2 things. One is that your truth is not the truth. Everyone has their own funky glasses. And the second is that you have the ability to flex the information that you share. And if you do that in a considered and deliberate and concerted way, you can make your communication a win for everybody concerned. So that's Felicity Wingrove from Zen Communications. I would love to know how that lands with you. Do get in touch, stay in touch. I'm over on LinkedIn. Let me know how it works.
Thank you for joining us for the 2021 Train of Positivity Virtual Summit. If you have enjoyed this positive message, please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. If sharing, please don't forget to use the hashtag Train of Positivity. Continue to have a great day, and thanks again for tuning in.